Hello guys, how are you? So in this session we are going to talk about the creating and managing dates and times. So basically in this topic we are talk about the date and times, but that how we can use the dates and time topic in the Python coding, and how we can create some dates in instances and time instances in our Python code. So let's start with this in our today's session. Working with dates and times is one of the biggest challenges in the programming. Between dealing with the time zones, daylight saving time, and the different written date formats, it can be tough to keep track of which days and times you are referencing. And basically it was saying that the dates and times is the very biggest challenges in the programming languages. And it is challenge because of we have to deal with the time zones, daylight saving time, and the different written date formats. That was very tough to keep track of which days and the times you are referencing. Then, fortunately, the built-in Python date and time module can help you manage the complex nature of dates and time. So basically, there is a Python library named as date and time, which can help you to manage the complex nature of dates and time. Date time library helps us identify and process time related elements like dates, hours, minutes, seconds, days of weeks, months, year, etc. So basically this dates and time library help us to identify and the process time related elements. Some elements like the dates, hours, minutes, seconds, days of weeks, months, year, etc. It offers various services like managing time zones and the daylight saving time. It can work with data, and it can extract the day of the week and the day of the month and other date and time formats from strings. In short, it is really powerful way of handling anything date and time related in Python. So it was telling that the by using this library, we can handle the date time complexity in the Python language. We can extract the days of week, days of month, and the other date and time formats from strings by using this powerful library which is named as the date and time. So let's get into it. Python date time classes. Before jumping into writing code, it's worth looking at the five main object classes that are used in the datetime module. So basically, I want to tell you about the some main classes of the datetime library. Depending on what we are trying to do, we will likely name to we will likely need to make use of one or more of these distinct classes. Date time allows us to manipulate times and the dates together: monthly, day, year, hour, second, microsecond. So basically this datetime class help us to manipulate times and dates together. Date allows us to manipulate dates independent of time, month, year, day. Time allows us to manipulate time independent of date, hour, minute, second, microsecond. Then the time delta class uh, help us to duration of time used for manipulating dates and measuring. 𝐇𝐴𝐧 info, an abstract class for dealing with the time zones. So that's about the date and time classes. Now let's start with the creating date objects. First, let's to take a closer look at the date time object. Since date time is both a module and a class within that module, we will start by importing the datetime class from the datetime module. Then we will print the current date and the time to take a closer look at what's contained in the datetime object. Like it was saying that the datetime library contains a module named same as date and time. That's why this date and time comes more frequently, and it is help us to do many things. And we can do this using date times now function. Like if I want to identify while coding that what is the time, date, and some other formats, some other things, then by using this now function I can print that. We will print our date time object and then also print its type using type. So we can take a close look. So basically by using this code from date and time, import date and time, as you can see, this library has a module name same as the library. And then when you write date time dot now, you can print the current date and time at the time you are writing the code. Next is extract year and month from the date. Now we have seen that what makes up a date time object. We can probably guess how date and time objects look, because we know that date objects are just like date time without the data, and time objects are just like date and time without date data. So basically, next we are going to see we can also anticipate some problems, like for example, in most date set, date and time information is stored in string format. Also, we may not want all of this date and time data. If we are doing something like a monthly sales analysis, breaking things down by microsecond, it isn't going to be very useful. So now let's start digging into a common task in data science, extracting only the elements that we actually want from a string using date and time. So let's start with the common digging from the date and time library. Now we move on to the coding session, where I tell you that how you can use this date and time library in your Python code and do some more cool stuffs from that. So that's all for the theoretical session. Now the main start from the coding session, where I show you the implementation of this creating and managing date and times. Where and in this coding theoretical session, I just told about the date and time library, some of its classes, how you can create date objects, and extract year and month from the dates.